So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Today we're going to have a foldable comparison between the Honor Magic V6 and the Galaxy Z Fold 7. This video is more geared towards the Honor Magic V6, and shout out to Honor for sending this out. The global edition is now available for this phone, which is the one you're seeing right here. But let's talk first about the hardware differences. And this one has IP68 and IP69. So definitely finally getting that super great, water resistance, dust resistance, and it does have a super steel hinge on here that is going to make the Honor Magic V6 a little bit better when it comes to impacts. So that's very good for this phone. In addition, this device does have a less visible crease than that of the Galaxy Z Fold 7. So is Samsung losing their own game here, where they were the ones really innovating on the foldables to start? And I'd say they're kind of falling a little bit behind, especially on the crease area. Definitely this is barely visible. You can see it on this angle because I have studio grade lights, but the one on the Z Fold 7 is extremely noticeable. Let's go ahead and turn off the screen really quickly. Look at that thing right there. That's not to say there's not an amazing feat of engineering. This device is super thin and beautiful. Also has a little bit of a larger screen, but that Honor and some of these other foldables that are coming out these days, especially the ones from Honor here, are really quite good on those bezels, or on those hinges and the creases right there. So I do really like what I'm seeing here. Now, when it comes to the actual design overall, the weight of this phone is slightly heavier. It is at 219 grams. The Z Fold 7 is at 215. So the Z Fold 7 is a little bit lighter than this phone and more rectangular. The Honor Magic V6, you'll see we do have ourselves a little bit more rounded edges right there on the phone. Overall, it to me feels more comfortable to hold than the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And if you look on the edges here, we do have ourselves like this diamond pattern on the edge of this phone. So it feels very premium and looks very nice. So this is one of the better foldables I've seen ever created. So Honor Magic V6, pretty nice in that respect. Now, we do talk about this phone closed, fully folded. This thing is only 9 millimeters. The Z Fold 7 is going to be around the 8.9. Both of these do have camera bumps. This one is in the middle, and you could kind of hit it with your finger there. This one sticks off the edge as well. It's just over here, so really just depends on which design you like more. I found in actual practice, though, that the Z Fold 7 tends to rock more on a table like that, and it's a little bit more, because the weight of the camera is off to the edge, it feels a little bit more less balanced. I feel like the Honor doesn't really rock any much, and it's a little bit better balanced in the hand, the weight and feel. So overall, they pretty much knocked it out of the park with this Honor Magic V6 for sure. Z Fold 7, I think, feels like the best Z Fold ever made, but I do think that they have some pretty heavy competition here now for sure. But definitely would like to see Samsung bring back an S Pen or something like that, because now it's pretty much a wash. There's no pen advantage to the Z Fold 7 over there. Now, when it comes to the cover displays, the Honor does have a little bit less density. It does have 406 ppi, but it is a bigger screen at 4.52 inches. It's also anti-scratch, and it does give you, though, a much better eye care support on this display. So I think for those of you who want a display that is a little bit more regular smartphone looking, I think with its like the shape of this, it looks more like a 6.3 inch phone over here in the front, like something like a regular iPhone or something like that on the front display. Just the way the Z Fold is a little bit more narrow and tall, so it still has that Z Fold kind of feel to it, but it also has gotten bigger versus before. This one, just a little bit bigger, and I think better on the eyes at night. Now over here, we have a little bit higher resolution on the front. It also does have higher density, but it's slightly smaller at 6.5 inches. And it is LTPO, both of these displays, but you don't have that higher PWM rate for the Z Fold 7. So if that bothers your eye, it could be an issue, but if you like a little bit sharper display, the Z Fold is a little bit ahead there. But generally, these are pretty competitive, and I do like that about both of them. Honor Magic V6, though, I do really love the Honor eye care features, though. The eye and comfort display features really do enhance like that nighttime experience. It is really quite good, and it's found on both the front cover display and the inner display. They have things like defocus eye care, We do have dimming modes, and they even show you what each one does right here. It'll talk about it right here. So really the focus on that area gives this an advantage, but also the shape of it just feels a lot more like a regular phone to me when it is closed. It almost feels like it's not a foldable when you're holding it. And also the edges feel smoother to hold than the Z Fold 7. Although the Z Fold 7 is a very easy to hold phone as well. It's just a little bit sharper at this corner in the palm. I definitely feel that unless I'm putting a case on it, then it doesn't really become too much of an issue. Now on the unfolded displays, you will find a bigger screen on the Galaxy Z Fold 7 at around 8 inches, and this one is 7.95, but they're basically a wash because in reality, they actually feel like they're about the same size here on the unfolded display. However, the Honor does have the advantage of a brighter display peak, so it can hit 5,000 nits. This is an LTPO display. This is LTPO2 display. So the Honor is ahead in that department as well. Now, the Z Fold 7 does have HDR10 Plus support, but so does the Honor over here, giving you 1 billion colors. We are going to get really nice, anti-reflective coating on this phone over here on the Honor device, and it gives you a higher density on the inner display. So while the Z Fold 7 won on the cover display, the Honor is winning on this inner display. So really it depends on which one you want. For the inner display, the Honor is ahead. For the external display, the Honor is very close and could be ahead for some people, but the Z Fold is a little bit higher density on the outside display. So really you have to think about what matters more to you. I personally have been more impressed with the Honor's experience because the crease is not as noticeable and it feels more comfortable to hold while being brighter and sharper on a display I'm using more often, which is that inner display, which is one of the reasons you buy the foldables to begin with. Also, their punch holes are in basically the same location, basically about the same size, so there's nothing to talk about there. I will say that camera bump on the back of the Honor does make it less likely to rock even when it's unfolded as well. You'll see barely anything. So if you're like typing like this or doing anything on the table, no problem. But there's a very severe tilt on the Z Fold 7 here. So that's just something I noticed. It's not the end of the world, but if you're using a third-party stylus or something you're drawing, you're going to be like, you know what I'm saying? If you're drawing here, it's going to be a little bit more flat and something of that sort. Now, in terms of folding both of these phones, they both feel very solid. I can't really say one feels substantially better than the other. They just both feel like very durable hinges. So that's a really good thing for either one you go with here. It really is. So I really like how foldables in general have been getting extremely durable. But the Honor one is innovative, and so is the Z Fold 7. So you're going to win either way when it comes to hinge durability. That's for sure. Now, if we put these in like a flex mode, you'll see the Honor, because of its camera, this is where it kind of falls short. It'll just kind of bounce around a little bit like that. So you tend to have to go on this side with the camera facing outwards like that, which is probably the more natural way to put it. But the Z Fold 7 sits a little bit on an angle as well, just not quite as severe. But it also is going to do better in a flex mode like that. So definitely both of them pretty good in this department. Not a substantial difference. You can play around in the flex modes on both of these and just kind of rock out with your device like a little mini laptop tablet-y thing right here. So definitely pretty fun. So a couple things about the Honor. It does charge faster. It could charge up to 80 watts. So this is a faster charging phone. And not only is it faster, but it does have a larger battery as well. This phone is rocking the silicon carbon technology, 6600 milliamp hour battery on here for the global edition, which you see here. If you get the Chinese editions, you get a little bit larger battery. So that's pretty nice. You get a very large battery on here. You can get this phone in gold, red, white, or black. And I got to say that the Honor just really lasts a lot longer on battery than the Z Fold 7. So if you are looking for one of those more advanced battery phones, this is one of them if you want a foldable. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 does have the tried and true lithium ion technology, but it's not a huge battery. So I find myself charging this way more frequently than the Honor. So if you do want amazing battery life, the Z Fold 7 is good. It gets through a day, and I think most people don't have a substantial issue with it. But it doesn't give you like overly impressive battery This is going to impress you, the Honor Magic V6. If you were looking for a really strong battery, it's really going to impress. So when they are unfolded, the Honor Magic V6 is actually thinner than the Galaxy Z Fold 7, but it's very, very small. It's 0.2 millimeters thinner. Even though you'll look at these right here and they'll look about the same, the Honor Magic is actually slightly thinner. It's 4.1, 4 to 4.1, and it's 4 to 4.1, and the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is actually 4.2. So slightly thicker on the Galaxy Z Fold 7, but honestly, it's so small. I don't think most people would even really notice that much of a difference in thinness factor between these two phones. When it comes to performance, the Galaxy Z Fold is rocking last year's chip and the Honor Magic V6 is rocking the latest chip. So this phone is actually the better pick if you want better performance on the left here. If you're looking for really good performance with software though, the Samsung is very well optimized. So I do like that. I think it's slightly better optimized when it comes to software on the Z Fold 7. Just due to Samsung's heavy focus and constant updates to One UI. But the Honor Magic V6 is promising 7 years of update support, so it's very good as well on that front. And it does have some triple multitasking features that are potentially even more enjoyable than the Samsung. But the Samsung does have its tried and true edge panels, pop view windows, and it really goes to town with DeX as well. But you are looking at the Snapdragon 8 Elite on both, but the Gen 5 on the Honor Magic V6. You can also extend to your Mac. You can use this as an extended screen for your Mac, which is pretty cool. You can't do that on the Z Fold 7. And also, the AI features are substantially improved on the Honor Magic V6. They have their whole AI suite here. And then over here on the Samsung, you also do have the Galaxy AI. So you'll have to decide which AI features matter more to you. But there's a ton in here, including Magic Sidebar, Magic Text, AI subtitles. It goes on and on. The memos, the deepfake cloning detection, the AI writing. There is so many AI features on here that weren't on some previous Honor phones that this is really a substantial leap forward if you want to use AI. The Honor AI is where it's at. Also, if you hold down right here, you'll have the Gemini integrated. Now over here for Samsung, the AI suite I feel like is more focused on what you're actually going to use a lot and not like trying to give you a ton more than what you actually need. And I do like it over here. It is pretty useful, a lot of it, but not all of it. Some of it is still gimmicky to me, but both of them are very advanced in that department. So if AI is your thing, you don't really have to pick one or the other to like really say one is way better. You just got to decide which AI features are better for you. Now you'll see right here, if I click this, there's a quick layout feature where you can actually tap on different icons and bring up multitasking very simply like this. So this is a very neat way to do multitasking, triple split screening like this. Some people might prefer that. The way Z Fold does it is you kind of go over here. Let's go over here and we'll split screen and we'll grab, how about we grab news? And then you'll bring your third application down in one of the corners. So let's go ahead and bring this down here. And you'll see you could flip them around, even rearrange them. Let me go and tap that. Hold on, it's actually this one. Yeah, you could flip them around and rearrange them. So kind of wherever you want them. I tend to think that this is the better way to do it, the way Honor's doing it for productivity, because you don't have to deal with this little corner app right here. That's one of the main things. But one thing I don't like about this option is that you got to keep doing this to go over. So that's another action. I do like how Samsung's is right there in front of your face. So it kind of is really preference here, but multitasking features are substantial on both. I do like how Samsung's setup is kind of a little bit better when it comes to having you got different apps on the front and the inner screen. The way they set this up is kind of like you have two different products in one. Honor's bringing those applications from the cover screen into the inner display, which is fine, but I do like the way you can kind of set these up a lot differently. If we click over here, you'll have different cards and widgets, tons of features to play around with, themes. But Samsung, I still think, has the little bit of the better customization features with Good Lock. You can really customize this really deeply with the Galaxy experience. So I do like that a lot as well for Samsung. So when we talk about the cameras on the Honor, you do get a 50 megapixel main, and you are going to get pretty nice periscope telephoto at 64 megapixels. I think the Honor has the better zooming camera, and some of the results for me just look sharper. overall. Now, when we do the video, you can see you can do up to 4K at 60. Hold on, let's go over here. 4K at 60. And if we go to the specifications here, you'll see right there. And then also if we pull down, there's going to be HDR video, different aspect ratios, but you do have more options here, including dual view, super macro modes, scanning documents. This just, the results that come out of this camera are just really sharp. They don't really make you feel like you have to go get a different phone to have a good camera. They're really strong. You can also do those cover screen previews as well. And on the front camera, also pretty decent. It's still not going to be like the flagship phone better, but it's pretty good nonetheless, with having that 20 megapixel front facing camera. So I like the Honor setup. Now the Galaxy Z Fold 7 technically does have the better megapixel count. And I think it's a little bit more consumer grade on the Z Fold 7. So what I mean is anybody could just take a picture with this phone and it's kind of very simple, good results. And some people might like the way these pictures look in terms of their calibration. I just find their zooming features and their zooming camera not as good, but you can do up to 8K 30 on here. And then you could do a lot of these modes as well, including Pro Video, Portrait Video, Expert RAW. You can add some more from the Galaxy Store. And on the front, they're still using this older 10 megapixel camera. It still looks plenty fine, and the soft results are pretty pleasing for a lot of people. But generally, I find this one a little bit less sharp than the Honor photos. So to me, this is a little bit more consumer friendly, the Galaxy Z Fold 7, and the Honor is a little bit more pro-like to me in terms of if you really want to get those really sharp pro results. But at the end of the day, when you throw it in the 200 megapixel, the Samsung does have the better or the bigger sensor, so it is ahead there. It is for sure. But the other cameras is where the Honor shines to me. Neither of these though are the camera you're going to pick over like their flagship camera phones. Let's just put it that way. These are not those ones. A couple other things though is that they both have pretty good connections, but we do have 3.2 USB Type-C on the Samsung, 3.1 over here. This does have a display port. You can also plug this into a monitor, so no real issues. Bluetooth 6.0, so a little bit better Bluetooth connections. Both have Wi-Fi 7, but wrapping it up here, I just kind of want to give my final take on, is Samsung, did they just lose here to this global rollout V6? And I gotta say, in a lot of areas, yeah, they are kind of losing for sure. The crease is definitely looking very substantial now, and it's very perceivable. One of the things about the Honor Magic crease is it's not quite that perceptible. The only reason you're seeing something right here is simply because I am in a studio full of lights, so I can kind of find it. In regular use though, you can actually see the crease and feel it out more on the Samsung over there. So they're definitely losing in that department. I also think that the Samsung not having their own stylus support is kind of lame too. The Honor Magic V6 has stylus support. That's one of the benefits to it as well. I also think that the kind of the feel of it, of the Honor Magic V6, just feels a little more comfortable. So I think Samsung can up the design a little bit, make them a little bit more comfortable for sure. They're just a little bit sharper, a little bit more rectangular to me. So, well, that's about it. Did they just lose? In some areas, yes, but the Honor is definitely a very impressive offering here in 2026. It's exciting to see this progressions of the foldable space. I think they're very good now, and either way you go, you don't lose. But we're waiting for one of those other foldable phones, and we're not going to discuss what those are. So the question is, did they lose? And I think in a lot of areas, most areas, yeah, they kind of lost to the Honor phone here. They're definitely ahead, but we'll see what happens when the Galaxy Z Fold 8 comes out. Maybe we'll do another comparison, but Honor really has a strong offering here with the Magic V6. Let me know if you agree, disagree with my comments, my review down below in the comment section of this video. If you found it entertaining, informing, enjoyable, click the like button for me, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll catch you on the next episode. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.